Well, technically speaking, we're a little bit late on this one. Sorry. But if you read it live and you actually don't look down, you actually will know that technically speaking, we're not, because for all intents and purposes, this is September 29th. And like me right here, because I don't know anymore. I just like stop things because I'm dumb. But welcome to yet another Academy Awards podcast where we predict our big 8 categories here on the Popcast Network. My name is Owen. Of course, if you noticed by now, my voice is a little bit raspy. I could do that thing that Phoebe did in Friends where she had the smelly cat voice, because like my falsetto is like super dead right now, because in order to do an accent for 12 days straight, you kind of have to push your vocal cords a little bit. So needless to say, I ain't going into that, because if I go into that, nope, that's what you pay for. So literally speaking, we're going to get started after I ramble a little bit. So there is a lot of things that's been going on lately. Obviously, like I said before, it's still September 29th, 2018, which basically means that we are officially doing our September predictions. And the reason why is because with timing and with Halloween Horror Nights and with the scheduling and all the conflicts we've had lately when it comes to actual videos, that's the reason why things aren't necessarily here right now. So because of that, that's the reason why we're doing that. So today's video, the 29th, will be this podcast. And the 30th will be the brand new second part of AJ's movie reviews, which just came out yesterday. And then we're going to be getting our versus segment for Monday, which technically is today, so I don't know why I'm making quote marks. But anyway. And yeah, Ashley will be returning very soon with his content. Got some wrestling content, of course. We got a lot of good things that just happened. Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling just had some stellar shows. We're going to talk about those. And obviously, I'm super busy until November. So needless to say, you're not going to see me very much on this network for a while. But you got this, and that's how we start off our 2019 Academy Awards prediction podcast for the month of September. So, as always, joining me is still fresh from the doctor and hopefully feeling a lot better than he has previously, and that is Ashley.
Not really the doctor, it's more like the hospital and whatever, but yeah.
Been seen by doctors.
And stuff.
And things. And other assorted noises. Of course. I haven't said that in a while. And, of course, only for this season, we have in the flesh, and that is AJ.
Yes, you do.
Dynamite drop in there, Donnie. So I probably should have gotten more, but this is leftover sip and snack. I love it. So welcome, Broad Guy, to chat. He says, hello, guys. I know what is going to be first. What is out? Yes, that's exactly right. And we're going to go into what is new with the race, because a lot of things have changed in a month. Matter of fact, I hadn't even looked at these predictions since last month. I'll shoot with you guys because I'm always completely honest with you. I literally just flipped them like AJ knows like a couple minutes ago. He doesn't know what I did, but he knows that I did that because he was watching. So it's like 1 hour photo up in this piece. So needless to say, we're going to get started right now with our state of the race. So AJ, what's going on right now after TIFF, after everything that just flipped everything on its head?
Well, I started the last video saying that I wasn't sure how Roma stood, especially in the whole black and white foreign Netflix thing.
Right.
Clearly, it's doing very well, and people have
seen that
for it. So there's that. There's how much Green Book has started to break out after the whole TIFF thing.
Yep.
Where I just kind of, once again, it was being dismissed because, like, Peter Farrelly directed it. And when I talked about it, because I was predicting Ollie last video, that just kind of seemed like maybe it'll get an acting on. I wasn't sure because of, like, his and Mortensen's category placement. But apparently people have even higher hopes for it than that in some cases. So, and apparently, Can You Ever Forgive Me has really started gaining steam, interestingly enough. I think that's also a post-TIFF thing.
Right.
So, yeah, but apart from that, I don't know if anything else major. Oh, yeah. Backseat apparently isn't called that anymore. And they basically did a name roulette for like a week before they settled on Vice, which is also the name of that shitty straight-to-video Bruce Willis movie I reviewed a few years ago. So
Very, very true.
Maybe this will like erase that movie from my memory entirely, which would help, and I'll only associate the title Vice with this now. That could be one reason that's helpful. But apart from that, I think it's about the same. I think we were talking about how Mary Queen of Scots and The Favourite seem to be interchangeable. Apparently, The Favourite seems to really be taking off in a way that Mary Queen of Scots kind of isn't.
After having seen the trailer for The Favourite, I'm even more conflicted over who's the lead and who's supporting.
Yeah, we were laughing at Owen last time because of the category placement that he did, but yeah, I guess more people have started doing it that way, so whatever.
Every year, we always have something that seems completely out of nowhere that we get right, and it's just, I guess that's mine for this year.
And I was talking about Ad Astra a lot, and I guess I'm still hearing talk about it, but apparently nothing has changed in regards to its status since last time, so this is still just kind of a bit of a leap of faith sort of thing. But yeah, so whether or not I stick with it, it'll be based solely on not a whole lot.
Well, interesting. Braga has some commentary. He says Roma's this year's Amore, basically.
To some extent, but the problem is it's the Netflix issue. That, I think, is the big difference. Although, I guess we could talk about that because it might have an impact on it, because I don't think we talked about it last month.
Right.
Netflix is going to be doing actual theater screenings for its films more widespread than they have before. I think they realized what Amazon did with Manchester by the Sea a couple of years back actually helped it probably win. So Netflix, I think it's like a 2-week run, and it's more widespread than like the 4 theaters that it needs to actually get the qualification to actually be up for award nominations, which I think is an honestly sensible move. Especially because Alfonso's pretty much said he wants it to be seen on the big screen rather than a small screen situation. And if that's the case and it's your big ticket thing, you're going to be doing that.
Well, Ashley, don't forget what we said last time, though. Last month, we said quite definitively that there could be a time where a Netflix movie could potentially win Best Picture. And judging by what we've had so far, before we even get started in our actual award season, this might be the year.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it has the potential. And I'd also like to shout out in a state of the race gone wrong, the amount of interest that's now come on Boy Erased has just fell off. Because the critics were not very kind to that. Being very sort of critical. Of course, because it isn't the critics, it could still obviously have enough hold to possibly be in contention, but that has cooled way off from all the interest that was probably there last month.
I'd still say acting performances are a little bit more solidified than anything else, though.
Yeah, you can have sort of a not very great film, but because of the power of an acting performance, it can get nominated. No, I can see that, but a lot of the momentum that it possibly did have has sort of cooled down quite a bit.
So, Bright Guy says, on a side out, this has nothing to do with the Oscars, but now we can officially say that Andrew Lloyd Webber, Tim Rice, and now John Legend are in the EGOT.
Well, we just got to wait for Gaga at this rate, haven't we?
He's got a better chance of Best Actress at this point. And yes, we killed the popular film category. Yes.
Oh yeah, that happened. I think honestly, because they didn't have enough time to sort of work out the parameters for it, they're gonna do it in the revamp next year, or 2020, I should say. Which, in all honesty, makes sense. You know, don't just announce something and then everybody's going da 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 da, and then you realize, oh wait, we didn't work out what we were gonna do, and people are already trying to push it on. Perhaps we should give it a year to actually work out how it should go.
Wow. Do you realize what Bry Guy just said? He just really put something in my head. Since there's a possibility of Roma winning Best Picture, we don't know, obviously. It's a possibility because anything is in the running right now. It's also the submission for Mexico for Best Foreign Film. So potentially speaking, we could have a Best Picture and a Best Foreign Film be the same movie. That'd be a first.
The comparison earlier was Amore.
Yeah.
But I think we mentioned this last time too. The thing that Roma has going for it, obviously, that Amore didn't, was the Academy's already gone crazy once for Cuarón.
Yeah, yes.
And the movie didn't win picture.
Nope.
So, but then again, that didn't help Ang Lee in 2012. So.
No, it did not. And I will never let anybody live that down. So, now the beginning is over. That means it's time to actually kick into our predictions. So, if you haven't joined us before, we start with the big 8 categories, and we go all the way to the end of the year. And at the beginning of the year, what we do is we predict every single Oscar category. So right now, without any further ado, let's get to our first category, and it looks like we're going to go into Best Adapted Screenplay.
All right. I made a couple of changes, and one of them I'm still not totally sure about, but whatever. I have Beautiful Boy, Black Klansman, Can You Ever Forgive Me, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star Is Born. Beautiful Boy is just kind of maybe the 5th slot, I guess.
Right.
And something that's carried more by its performances than anything else. Can You Ever Forgive Me, like I said, for some reason seems to be rising in an interesting and sort of not exactly predicted way. I was a bit iffy on If Beale Street Could Talk last time, because I wasn't sure if it was like I had heard something about it maybe not being Academy friendly, and I was thinking it might be a little too close in style to Moonlight.
Right.
But sort of just the more it keeps getting brought up, the more it's like maybe I was underestimating that. And I think A Star Is Born and Black Klansman speak for themselves. They're pretty, they seem to be pretty secure in the race as far as now, but hopefully, once again, that's not my bias towards hoping Black Klansman does really well, but I'd like to think it's in here pretty securely.
All right. Ashley, what we got?
My 5 are A Star Is Born, Beautiful Boy, Black Klansman, First Man, and Leave No Trace. I've only suddenly started to realize how good that film was after seeing it like 3 or 4 months ago, because some of the other sort of critics and whatever are already putting that in their top 10 films of the year, and maybe that might do something maybe for like the Globes and whatever, but of course if it gets the momentum for the Globes, it might have people consider it for the Oscars. But you know, that's a really well-written script, and the fact that it's a female duo writing in the movement that we're in at the minute, it'd be good to champion something in. I mean, okay, Nicole Perman co-wrote with Josh Singer on First Man, although I don't know who's getting the full credit there or whatever. But the fact that everything else, at least that I've got in my list, is written by a man. I don't want to say it's the token sort of style entry, because it's a powerful film enough as it is, but I'm sticking it in there for now, and I hope it stays there if it has the momentum enough from, you know, the film critic circles, because I think like isn't it by the end of October that like the first one comes out from, is it? It's not Gotham, is it? It's one of the California ones, isn't it? I think. It's the first one of like the critic circles when you have that list of like Boston and Toronto and London and New York and everything that comes out and whatever. So I'm hoping from that it will gain enough momentum. So yeah, that's my sort of 5. I think the Beautiful Boy probably stands for itself because that's got to get that's getting a lot of glowing praise at the minute, and then First Man's Star is Born and Black Klansman, I'd say, are sort of mainstream enough that people understand why they're there.
Right. Right Guy says Gaga hasn't won an Emmy, but she did get nominated 3 times. Not too much longer, though. His adapted lineup is Black Klansman, First Man, If Beale Street Could Talk, Leave No Trace, and A Star is Born. Right Guy, you're very similar to my lineup, actually, now. Because my lineup's changed a bit. Mary Queen of Scots, like was said by AJ previously, and the favorite, interchangeable. So needless to say, I got rid of Mary Queen of Scots pretty much all across the board. May not have been a good idea. I guess we'll find out, because that statement definitely was grammatically incorrect. So needless to say, with my lineup, it's actually going to be Best Adapted Screenplay is going to be Black Klansman, A Star is Born, Widows, First Man, and replacing Mary Queen of Scots is If Beale Street Could Talk. Sounds like people are really wanting that movie to succeed, and it makes more sense to me to keep it in because I have it doing a lot better as we get further on in the categories. Not on just the acting nominations. I think it's going to do well, and I don't know if it's going to actually win anything. Probably not, but it's definitely something to making people think. So needless to say, I think that it's got a really good chance to do well when it comes to nominations, for sure. So
I forgot you were going all in on Widows. But
oh yeah, well, I took out Widows because I didn't even realize it's already been made into a TV series, so I'm sort of biased, and it's like the British one's better.
I'm just keeping Widows in for the time being right now because I feel like it still could do something, but there's also movies that could bump it out possibly.
Keep in mind that I think it's starting this week that London Film Festival starts, where it's getting its world premiere. So,
well, you remember, Ashley, if you remember from a month ago exactly how much like AJ said, how much hope I have with Widows and my predictions. So, I mean, in order to take it out here, it'd make no sense for the rest of the predictions moving forward. So that's the reason why I kept it in.
Yeah.
And once again, I'm not doing anything with Can You Ever Forgive Me until I absolutely have to. It's my pride. Like AJ gets hurt by every single year. We both do.
I guess my Widows thing is just another one of those cases of me setting myself up for a fall where Widows will probably do like really well, and then I'll just look like an idiot when you look back on these. So there is that.
Remember when everybody was hyping about Life Itself?
Yeah,
that fell off. That's another one that fell off bad.
Bry Guy says, "Don't Leave No Trace" is the same people that did Winter's Bone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Owen does not like that movie. Okay. So now we move. AJ knows. So we now move forward to the opposite, and that is Best Original Screenplay.
I only changed one. I have 8th Grade, The Favorite, First Reformed, Roma, and Vice. I think the one I had in here before was Ad Astra because I kind of kept doing the Arrival comparison. But obviously with Roma's rise and the fact that 4 movies actually usually do really well with getting into this category, I figured this pretty much speaks for itself. First Reformed is probably like right on there, but I'm just going to kind of stick with this Schrader thing until something drastic changes my mind. Because it's still kind of mind-blowing he's never been nominated. And people still occasionally bring up the movie. Like, Ethan Hawke has so many projects. He's just, like, constantly seems to be doing interviews. So he's been talking about First Reform for, like, a year and a half at this point, and he still is. So it's still kind of hanging around in there, but, yeah, and I think, like I said, the other 3 pretty much speak for themselves, so, yeah.
Welcome, Cassie. Bry Guy says 8th grade, the favorite Green Book, Roma, and Stan and Ollie. Ooh, I forgot about that movie.
Oh yeah,
Ashley, what do you got?
I forgot that film had a trailer that actually looked interesting. Pretty similar to what we just heard actually there. I have 8th grade favorite Green Book, Roma, and I'm sticking with I Love Dogs. God damn it. The more and more I see of the favorite, it just the way it's written, just from the trailer, that looks sort of Oscar baity, if you want to call it that. With the momentum that Green Book has, I'm hoping that I'm really hoping the Bo Burnham thing stays. We'll have to see what sort of moves around when we get sort of over the next couple of months. And yeah, I'm sticking Roma in because I'm guessing I'm on the bandwagon now. I never thought I'd be champion Netflix films, but now that they might actually be releasing them in cinemas, I guess I've changed my mind on them.
So, you ever see the old-timey movies that there is a train that is going like super slow, but still people are running to try to catch up to it? And the next thing you know, their friends like toss this rope ladder at you to try to make sure you jump on actually get on the train. Yeah, that's me right now. Because I did the exact same thing. My best original screenplay lineup is now Vice, because obviously Backseat was there originally when it was called that. The favorite, 8th grade, and I had to drop Bohemian Rhapsody out. I don't want to, but I kind of had to in the situation. And sorry, Ashley, I Love Dogs is also out too. I don't want to, but right now I had to replace them with Roma and Green Book. It seems very safe right now.
Trust me, I'm on the fence about whether I wanted to keep A Quiet Place in and switch out I Love Dogs.
Right.
It's sort of like that, it's sort of like that close at the minute for me until we actually get more films and more reviews coming through that I can sort of get a gist of whether it is going to get knocked out. So I sort of feel your pain in that sense.
Yeah, it sucks because I really, really want to run Isle of Dogs, and I can't, and I don't have a way to do so. But I do think it's got a really good shot. Well, actually, it doesn't really have a good shot at winning anything because, well, we found out with Fantastic Mr. Fox it's possible. So, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
Depends on what they're going for this year. Stan and Ollie is written by Jeff Pope. Says Bry Guy.
Yeah, who did Philomena.
Yep, which was a fantastic movie that I was very happy to see theatrically in an actual theater that I did not have to work at. So we're moving on from screenplay to best supporting actress. And I said before that I had kicked out Mary Queen of Scots. Not completely. We'll get to that. AJ.
I'm actually just realizing that I didn't change this from last time. I was going to change it, but then I ended up changing it back because, well, I'll say them and then I'll say that.
Fair point. Continue.
Nicole Kidman for Boy Erased, Regina King for Beale Street Could Talk, Margot Robbie for Mary Queen of Scots, Amy Ryan for Beautiful Boy, and Emma Stone for The Favorite. A couple of things. Obviously, for starters, I was going to put Amy Adams here for Vice because I had originally had her in leading.
Mm-hmm.
But then I know I keep using Arrival as a comparison for many things.
Right.
But it was like, if Amy Adams can be snubbed for Arrival, she can be snubbed for anything. And you could say, I mean, you could argue the opposite of that. You could argue the opposite and say people will vote for her because she was snubbed last time. But it just as equally opens up the possibility that maybe she's just lost her momentum. I guess depending on this performance. But it also just sort of, I guess it's just sort of a packed category issue. And in regards to Emma Stone also, obviously, as I said, people have started flipping them, her and Coleman, in regards to leading and supporting. But I think since The Favorite has gotten to be the bigger player than we realize, maybe it'll make them a bit more ballsy and not make the lesser-known actress in supporting just because she's the lesser-known actress. I mean, I think we said this before. Isn't she the main name on the poster? And Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz are like under.
If you look at the trailer, she is credited before Weisz and Stone is.
See, that's not. I mean, I know you can be first credited and still be supporting, like Clooney and Sirianna, for instance. But I mean, that's like I said, I feel like if the movie's going to be as big a deal as it seems to be, like it's going to be, that they'll have more confidence in it that they don't have to do that kind of thing. So I guess
And
we'll see what that's going with.
of course, as well, with her being Queen Elizabeth in seasons 3 and 4 of The Crown, there's going to be a lot more momentum for her actually being given sort of main credit stuff. And it, depending on the role, which even from the trailer, it sort of looks like she's the lead and the others are the supporting because they're the ones that are squabbling for the Queen's favor, sort of thing. Hence the title. That sort of influences what I've said. Segue?
Sounds like it.
So I've got Claire Foy for First Man, Margot Robbie for Mary Queen of Scots, Meryl Streep for Mary Poppins Returns, because, it stays in there until she actually doesn't have a chance of winning. And then both Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz for The Favourite. Because we've seen it happen before. Sometimes there's enough great performances in the film that both sort of get nominated in the same category. And as it stands, that's where I'm putting it. I move Boy Erased out because of the not very positive stuff that I've been hearing about the film. In all, might be a mistake if the performance good enough, but
I had an internal panic when you brought that up because I hadn't heard that before now. But then, as we were talking about, as far as like some performances go, like the very first thing I thought of was Sean Penn and I Am Sam, and it's like, well, if that happened, then any shitty movie can get acting nomination. And also, actually, it had happened quite a few times recently. But also, if you look at like Oscar history, just in general, it's like amazing how common it is for supporting actress to double up for one movie. That's like totally believable.
That's where it stands for me, at least at the minute.
I mean, it's possible.
Well, just recently it happened 2 years in a row with Up in the Air and The Fighter, and that wasn't that long ago.
True. Okay, first, before we move forward, more chat. Supporting actress for Bri Guy, Claire Foy for First Man, Regina King of Beale Street Could Talk, Emma Stone for The Favorite, Meryl Streep for Mary Poppins Returns, and Rachel Weisz for Favorite. Wow, there's a lot of believability here in this double favorite love. Well, didn't go that route, and I completely misread what I did. So yeah, Mary Queen of Scots is out of this because I'm dumb and don't pay attention. My best supporting actress lineup stays very similar. It's Amy Adams for Vice, Olivia Colman for The Favorite, Nicole Kidman for Boy Erased, Regina King if Beale Street Could Talk, and since I have a lot of hope for it because call my personal bias, I'm sure you will, Claire Foy for First Man. The closer we get to that movie, the more I'm getting more hyped about it, and I really, really want to see it do well. Because Damien Chazelle could do no wrong, without a doubt. Is he uncrowned?
It's weird as it stands that it's going to be the first 2 weeks in October, and you're getting two probable Oscar contenders coming out this early over here.
Exactly.
Normally, it's like, oh, we stick it all in January and February, so it's right there, fresh for the people that are doing the BAFTAs and whatever. But it's like, no, October 5th and October 12th. Actually, technically October 3rd, because Star is Born is opening on Wednesday. Even though at my local, they're more interested in doing more screenings of Venom.
That's fair.
And Johnny English Strikes Again.
That's not fair. And I like the. Well, it says Doubt and The Help. Yeah, I won't forget Doubt at all. I really wish I could forget The Help. So let's get to our next category, shall we?
Yeah, The Help needs to happen 3 years in a row. Jesus.
Best supporting.
Yeah, I totally missed what he was saying there. Yeah, it goes even farther than that with Doubt. But yeah. Okay. Supporting actor?
Mm-hmm.
I changed one. I have Mahershala Ali for Green Book, Timothy Chalamet for Beautiful Boy, Adam Driver for Black Klansman, Sam Elliott for A Star Is Born, and Richard E. Grant for Can You Ever Forgive Me. I love that he has not like lost his momentum yet, Richard E. Grant. So I'm definitely going to hang on to that. Obviously, the change I made was Sam Elliott, who I didn't have before. Yeah, I don't think we can underestimate A Star Is Born like anywhere.
Nope.
That's clearly going to be like it's going to do really well, like like in many aspects, like all down the line. So that just seems like the logical choice to make at this point. And the others are going to speak for themselves. I had them all last time except for him, so yeah.
All right, Ashley.
Mine switched up a bit, mainly ditching out all the Boyero stuff, and also Oscar Isaac for At Eternity's Gate because he might get tainted by life itself. There we go. My 5 as it currently stands: Mahershala Ali for Green Book, Timothy Chalamet for Beautiful Boy, Sam Elliott for A Star Is Born, Michael B. Jordan for Black Panther, and Richard E. Grant for Can You Ever Forgive Me? Mainly because I just want to see him there in the pictures of 5. That'd be awesome. But yeah, again, with the positive stuff I'm hearing about Beautiful Boy, this is why Chalamet gets in. And I can't remember whether I had B. Jordan in for Black Panther, but in sort of a pretty important and actually significantly well-written super villain sort of role, I think it deserves to get some credit, at least for the time being. As I say, we'll have to see how it goes over the upcoming months.
For those of you that are playing the home game, you would know that my best supporting actor, weirdly enough, has not changed one bit. Yeah, maybe a bad idea, but we'll see what happens. So if you don't remember, my best supporting actor lineup is Daniel Kaluuya for Widows, Stephen James for If Beale Street Could Talk, Adam Driver for Black Klansman, Sam Rockwell for Vice, and Timothy Chalamet for Beautiful Boy. I was really, really, really close to dropping Adam Driver, but I didn't, and I'm not going to. I want to keep him in here. And this is coming from someone who, because of time, because of money, because of a lot of different variables, has not yet seen Black Klansman. Shoot with you guys. I haven't seen much of anything this season. Again, time, money, problematic. You know this.
The only thing
thanks, Movie Pass. Thanks, Movie Pass. Thanks, Movie Pass. And the fact that I have a Cinemark now instead of an AMC, so there we go. That's another thing too. So
the only thing you need to see that's going to show you just how award-worthy Adam Driver is that Career Day sketch that he did on Saturday Night Live this past weekend.
Yeah.
Well, due to my personal bias, for obvious reasons, the thing that comes to mind for Adam Driver for me is Matt the Radar Technician.
You crush your enemies into the ground, get their bones, and turn it into the oil that you will do.
Exactly. And moving from Best Supporting Actor, we move into an interesting category this year, Best Actress.
Yeah, this I changed one thing, and I'm still doing something that's probably dumb. I have Olivia Colman for The Favorite, Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born, Melissa McCarthy for Can You Ever Forgive Me, Natalie Portman for Vox Lux, and Saoirse Ronan for Mary Queen of Scots. I know, for some reason, I'm still avoiding the Glenn Close thing for some reason. I still don't know why I'm not being drawn to that, because it seems like one of those just, it's like the first go-to for everybody else. But I don't know, just for some reason, I just feel like, it just feels so absent from this or something in regards to what I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm just looking at like all the wrong shit, but I'm just, for some reason, I'm just not feeling that. But then another thing that's probably not the best idea is, especially on top of the whole boy erased thing, was that everybody's now starting to point the finger at Kidman for Destroyer, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Which I didn't go for number one because I feel like actress is so packed at this point, and that she already had Boy Erased, but once again, didn't know about the whole people don't seem to like Boy Erased thing until this video started. So I don't know what this is going to look like next time. But in regards to the Portman thing, which is really the only other thing I feel like I even need to explain, I have heard that, number one, apparently some people think the movie's going to be too weird for Academy voters. And secondly, I've heard that she might almost be supporting, mainly because of it's similar to the Dev Patel scenario in Lion, where I guess like a whole half of the movie is her younger life. And I don't know exactly what the layout is, if it's like Lion and it's a chronological order, if it goes back and forth or what. But so yeah, there seems to be things going against Portman, but for some reason I felt the need to go for her anyway. Because I hear, like, even despite those two things, I guess that she's like really amazing. And I
honestly think the main issue is it's from the director of Eon Flux and Jennifer's Body.
Ooh, that's bad.
I mean, okay, like years and years before that, she wrote as well as directed Girl Fight, which is probably, I'd say, a cult classic to this day. But yeah, the fact that she's done like that other stuff, it sort of, I think she was also did one of the stuff on XX from what I can see here, that horror anthology thing that came out last year, was it?
Yeah. What movie are we talking about?
XX. The director of Destroyer is the same one that's done this back catalog and whatever.
My mind was still on Vox Lux, so I was confused where we were going.
Well, no, that's the Nicole Kidman thing. I was trying to have a quick research of it just to keep a track of it. But yeah. Oh God, it's got Sebastian Stan in it. Owen's gonna love it. Oh, and it's got Toby Kebbell, so I should love it.
Major
then
movie.
again, nearly everything that Toby Kebbell's been in the last 5 years since Rock and Roll, well, no, 10 years since Rock and Roller has been utterly shit, apart from Planet of the Apes. That's a good actor to have on. Maybe.
And we continue. Next.
Is okay. So my 5. Oh, Glenn Close for the wife. Yes, I'm sticking.
Seinfeld 4.
Olivia Colman for the favorite. Lady Gaga for Star is Born. Saoirse Ronan for Mary Queen of Scots. And the one that I'm putting in is Yalitza Aparicio for Roma, because Roma seems popular, and I might as well put somebody in that like you don't expect to be in the Best Actress stuff. Which, you know, if it actually won Best Actress, Best Picture, and Best Foreign Film, that'd be like crazy.
Okay. Before we go any further, chat. Mr. Top Hat says we have to fight for Hugh Grant. Fight, I say.
For which role?
My guess is probably Paddington 2.
That's the problem. Like over here, it's like that. So last year. So I looked at the list.
Concern, Ashley. We are
I looked at the list. Well, that's the other thing. It's like Meryl Streep isn't going to get in for Mary Poppins Returns because apparently all films have to be out by the 1st of December in order to be considered for release. Or considered for nomination, I should say, for the Globes.
What you guys don't realize is that my screen just glitched. And Ashley was staring into my soul for 2 seconds, and it was like the most frightening thing I've seen in a long time.
Staring motherfuckers.
And scaring people was my job, so needless to say, that's saying something. Even worse than Poltergeist was last night. Continue.
I just looked at the list as well for foreign submissions. The UK does have one, and it's I'm Not a Witch, which got, I think it was Best Debut Feature at the BAFTAs last year? Or was it Best
name sounds familiar.
Documentary? I can't remember. It got one of the two. But it's actually submitted in for foreign, so.
Right, gotta get on that. So he says, well, we're getting behind, obviously. His supporting actor lineup is Mahershala Ali, Sam Elliott, Richard E. Grant, Daniel Kaluuya, and Lin-Manuel Miranda. Interesting. Top Hat says, I can see Mary Poppins getting technical categories like art direction, costume, etc., but I'm not sure about acting. And Bry Guy says, Emily Blunt for Mary Poppins returns, Olivia Colman for The Favorite, Viola Davis for Widows, Stephanie Germanotta, of course, for A Star is Born, and Owen's favorite actress, Melissa McCarthy.
That's going to be the thing. Are they actually going to go with her real name or the Lady Gaga name?
Could go either way.
Because I fear if some people go, you know, her real name, people will go, who's she?
Honestly, that might be something that they should go with her work name instead of her shoot name, because to be quite honest, it's not a good idea for voters that don't know what her name is. But I can't imagine them saying, Lady Gaga, A Star's Born. Can't imagine that.
Yeah, but the problem is it sort of fits the whole persona that she might want to have.
I know.
I mean, if she wins, wins, it's like, well, the headlines write themselves.
Hollywood goes Gaga for Gaga. Come on.
No,
writes itself.
Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga, A Star is Born.
Wow. Well, speaking of that, we're going to go into mine. Once again, Ashley stealing my thunder, because I thought I was going to be like, oh, I'm going to do something that's really out there. And it was like, nope, Ashley did it before I did. So I might as well just say the same thing. Ashley and I are on the exact same path here. My best actress lineup doesn't change except for one notable exception that Ashley already did. Glenn Close for The Wife, Viola Davis for Widows, Lady Gaga for A Star is Born, Emma Stone for The Favorite, and yes, Letizia Aparicio for Roma. It really is a more this year. More ways than one. Yeah. Saoirse Ronan is out here. I don't know. Maybe it's a bad idea of taking her out of this. My 5 seem pretty solidified, but then again, it is September, so needless to say, a lot of things can change between now and then. And this Roma train keeps on rolling on, quite literally. So, might as well just stick it out and see where it goes. So, Bry Guy says, oh yeah, it's Gaga losing to Sam Smith. Probably the meme this year, like Roger Deakins for Ashley.
Oh, I have to be reminded of that every time.
He does this every week, you know this.
Well, no, actually, I don't. It's only every month when I get reminded of it.
You're lucky I know what day it is, actually. At this point.
Well, I have to, because I've got appointments to see regarding this. So I have to know what day it is.
All I know is I have 2 days off, and that's a good thing.
Bodie and Doyle.
Rest Doyle for more reasons than one. Top Hat says Glenn Close for The Wife, Viola Davis for Widows, Felicity Jones for On the Basis of Sex, Melissa McCarthy for Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Lady Gaga for A Star is Born. All right. And we are supercharged. So, comedy for me is still comedy. Best actor.
Obviously, I'm not as confident in one of these as I was when we started this video because of the whole boy erased thing. But
I think it's fine.
I won't be cheap and change it mid-video. I'll just embrace it. So, I have Christian Bale for Vice, Bradley Cooper for A Star is Born, Lucas Hedges for Boy Erased, Robert Redford for The Old Man and the Gun, and John C. Reilly for Stan and Ollie. Hedges, obviously, not sure anymore. Redford, I thought Redford was backpedaling for a second on the whole retirement thing.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently he was just saying that he didn't want it to be made public that he was retiring or something. He just wanted to kind of do it quietly. Which honestly probably even helps his case even more.
Very much so.
I didn't go for Bale last time for some reason, but...
it's you. That's why.
But some shifting pretty much made it a certainty. And then Riley, apparently, as Ashley mentioned, the Stan and Ollie trailer got like a really good reaction to my understanding, particularly Riley. And the fact that he's got the Sisters Brothers on top of it, which apparently is getting a good reception, but people think it's going to be way too weird to get any like awards recognition. But if he's going to have like a banner year, because I mean, yeah, he's got the Holmes and Watson thing too, which probably isn't going to be great, but still, with a banner enough year, he can probably get in for this, especially since just given the subject matter, it's a biopic about somebody in the movie industry that's obviously a big deal. So I actually have like a huge book on them that I will probably get to like right before that comes out. So yeah, that's where I stand.
Ashley, where do you stand?
I have Steve Carell for Beautiful Boy, Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born, Willem Dafoe for Eternity's Gate, Ryan Gosling for First Man, and Viggo Mortensen for Green Book. Green Book moves in again because of the hype. I can't remember what else I transferred in. Maybe Carell. I didn't have in the last list. I'm not sure. But I'm reasonably confident, at least with a couple of them probably staying in until at least the end of the year when we get to the final picks, which is probably Cooper and Carell. And I've just realized as well, at the rate that I'm doing my picks, Cooper might be nominated in every single category that he can actually be in.
Wow.
Which also could be best song because he wrote one of the songs as well.
Yeah, I had Carell in last time, and I actually felt pretty confident about it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's pretty obvious to say that had I known the Boy Erased stuff before I went into this, I probably, without a doubt, would have him in here instead of Hedges. So I don't know if you want to count that or not, but
I'm gonna go with who knows at this point. So Mr. Top Hat says Bale for Vice, Steve Carell for Beautiful Boy, Cooper for Star Is Born, Gosling for First Man, Malik for Bohemian Rhapsody. Thank you for not letting me hang myself, Mr. Top Hat. We appreciate that you're out on the limb with me. It's me again, out on the limb. Just like the red, yellow, and blue monkeys I work with 5 days a week. Needless to say, Bry Guy says, honestly, I should have said this last podcast, but honestly, See You Again from Furious 7 should have gotten in and won that, and I know Owen would have loved One Kind of Love from Love and Mercy. Yes, absolutely. You know me here so well, Bry Guy. Sadly, wasn't ineligible. Bry Guy says, Bale, Cooper, Gosling, Malik, and Mortensen. And speaking of eligibility, Mr. Top Hat asked, does Stan and Ollie come out this year? I thought it was last year.
No, it hasn't even come out here.
No, it's not out yet.
There isn't a date set for it.
Right.
I don't know. Hang on, let me go in the ANZ. Its premiere, by the looks of it, is at London Film Festival. I'm just having a quick look at that. It's actually the closing film for the festival as well on the 21st. Right. So it's probably coming out here. But no dates have actually been confirmed yet for release here or in America. But
okay,
I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to release it before Christmas.
I was thinking I had heard. I didn't know if it was an actual date or not, but I felt like I remembered hearing when the trailer was released, the studio had said something about they were planning on an awards run.
Makes sense.
If it gets the right reception from LFF, they'll fast track it. Keep in mind, we were not supposed to be getting Crazy Rich Asians until November, but because of how well it was received in that opening week with you guys, they pushed it back to where it was originally supposed to be, which was, I think, was like first or second week in September.
Interesting.
They moved it back because they weren't sure, but they just wanted to get out of the way and try and get on the hype train. It did reasonably well, probably not as well as it did in America, but enough that it sort of garnered attention at least.
Right. Well, Bry Guy says, interesting for Riley. I had him for supporting for Stan and Ollie. And I can actually see Crazy Rich Asians getting a ensemble for SAG nomination. Possible. I think it's going to do really well at the Globes.
Yeah.
We say this every year. I do. My best actor lineup, again, I'm maybe making a huge mistake here, and I probably am, but my best actor lineup has not changed. Nope. So I have Lucas Hedges for Boy Erased, Ryan Gosling for First Man, Bradley Cooper for A Star is Born, Christian Bale for Vice, and Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody. I have a lot of hope for the movie, and I had to drop it as a screenplay, but I still think that the performance of Freddie Mercury is going to be enough to propel it in here. If it's not good, I could bump this out for something else. I thought about running Vigo here. I really did, but it's like, no, I'm going to stick to my guns here. And we all know what happens when no one sticks to his guns. I go down with the ship like American Hustle. Don't want to do that again. But still, it's one of those things that just kind of happen. But yeah, it's September, so I'm just going to keep my lineup as is. I did not know, just like AJ didn't, about the dislike for Boy Erased, but I still think Lucas Hedges is so solidified at this point that it still may be fine. Maybe just him. Potentially that could be it. So I guess so. Two left, and now we're moving on to Best Director.
I didn't change anything. It's the exact same as it was last time. I have Damien Chazelle for First Man, Bradley Cooper for A Star is Born, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, James Gray for Ad Astra, and Spike Lee for Black Klansman. As I said at the beginning, still pretty much no further news on Ad Astra, like, at all. I can't remember if, like, the still had been released yet that's out now, had been when we last did this, but yeah, but I still just feel like it's going to be one of those things that kind of comes in, like, at the very last minute, and it's going to be kind of a big deal. So we hear something drastic, I'm going to probably stick with it.
The big question is, considering it's Fox, and I know they're going, they've because of the switches that they've done with stuff. As it currently stands, they're going to be having a PG-13 version of Deadpool 2 out. What I think it's December 14th or 21st.
Something.
Can't remember. Couldn't Ad Astra go into that slot? I mean, okay, it's going up against Aquaman and stuff, but if you are going to consider it and try and push it for award stuff, okay, it's been submerged or been sandwiched by a couple of big films in that and Mary Poppins, but it'd be there. And, even if you just opened it in like the 4 screens and then did a wide release January 11th, as it's currently set, that to me, I think would make sense if they do want to position it that way.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
But there's a slot, because not everybody's going to want to see a PG-13 version of Deadpool 2.
Well, you see, it's the movie's target demographic. They can actually see it without their parents now.
Yeah, but what does that tell you? What does that tell you about the quality of Elite Battle Angel and X-Men Dark Phoenix?
Wow.
The fact that they get shoved again. James Cameron, damn you.
If it helps my argument, this actually isn't my Deadpool shirt, it's my brother's, so I'm not a hypocrite or anything.
No, he's not. I can vouch for this. So, before we go into Ashley's, I've got a couple things. Mr. Top Hat says, pretty sure best song this year is Locked for Shallow for Gaga, unless Mary Poppins sneaks up from behind. It's possible. It's very possible at this point. Right Guy says, Spike Lee, Damien Chazelle, Barry Jenkins, Alfonso Cuarón, and Bradley Cooper for director. And he said he almost had Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite and Peter Farrelly for Green Book, but he didn't. Mr. Top Hat says, First Man, If Bill Street Could Talk, Roma, Star is Born, and The Favorite is his lineup. So, not bad. Ashley, what do you got?
I just realized this year could just be 4 songs from The Star is Born and Eminem's Venom track. God, that'd be a weird list.
I hope not.
My 5 are pretty similar to AJ's. I've got Giselle for First Man, Cooper for Star is Born, Cuarón for Roma, and then in the not surnames beginning with C category, Spike Lee for Black Klansman and Barry Jenkins for If Beale Street Could Talk.
Okay. Top Hat says PG-13 Deadpool 2 will have an additional footage shot, especially for it, just like the Princess Bride opening.
God damn it! I've got to watch it again.
I just shake my head. I'll never give that movie a chance. So the thing is, again, I was about to do something that me personally, not a fan of doing, but I stuck to my guns and I will not do this. Even though it has bit me behind before, I have a lot of hope for Vice, as you guys know. And I almost put Adam McKay in here. I was this close. Still could happen. Never know. That being said, my best director lineup has not changed either. Damien Chazelle for First Man, Spike Lee for Black Klansman, Barry Jenkins for If Beale Street Could Talk, Bradley Cooper for Star is Born, and yes, I'm sticking with it, Steve McQueen for Widows. Don't know why. Just am. Can't justify putting Widows in as many spots as I do if I don't run Steve McQueen as well.
All I know is you'll find out by the 10th, because that's when it gets the London Film Festival open.
I'm either going to look like the biggest fool in the world, which wouldn't be the first time, or I'm going to look like a genius. And I don't mean Lanny Poffo. Or maybe I do. 7 down, 1 to go. Let's do this. Best Picture, and we do 9 on this network. It'd be nice if it dropped. Nope. Might go to 8, might go to 7, might stay at 9, might go up to 10.
Might go back up to 10 if there's enough films.
Could be 6, 7. God forbid it's at 5.
Could be 1. Just like nobody voted for anything else. It's just this one.
Best Picture, 3 nominees. Fight. So,
like best song of 2011.
I think it has to be a minimum of 5, though, right?
Probably.
All right, are we
Best
going?
Picture. Let's do this.
I have Ad Astra, Black Klansman, The Favorite, First Man, Green Book, If Beale Street Could Talk, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice. I think most of these speak for themselves. The thing about it is people were really building up the Black Panther thing. And then I said in the last video that I was pretty much replacing all of that Black Panther hype with Crazy Rich Asians hype. And I had it here. I also had it in adapted screenplay. But you see, I dropped it entirely. And the thing about that, I think, is not only do I just think it'll probably, it'll probably do really well, like globe-wise, but the hype will probably have died down by then. But there's also the fact that the reason people were going in that direction was we were talking about how there's always, like, this was kind of the whole point of the expansion, was there's always that movie that's, like, big with audiences.
Mm.
And yeah, I think we kind of been overlooking it, but we kind of already have the movie that's going to be really huge with audiences. Is that not A Star is Born? Because I know it's got like the R rating kind of surprised me a little bit, but I don't think that's going to do anything to its like mass appeal, especially since they're already like the songs themselves and all that. Just everything about this movie is going to be like so huge. And in regards to stuff like Green Book, obviously the only thing I have it for apart from this is Ali. But even besides that, because obviously the comparison I'm making did get into like screenplay and that, but I'm sort of getting like Hidden Figures vibes from it, and I don't know if that's just subconsciously because Ali's in that too, but to where it's just basically the feel-good movie that also tells that important story and all that. That's actually, for the material that it is, it feels like light. It seems like it's going to be that movie just from what I'm hearing. I didn't watch like the trailers or anything. Like I said, I'm getting more confident in If Beale Street Could Talk than I was last time, but I'm still obviously not going all in. Like, I obviously don't have Jenkins in or anything like that, but even so, I'm sure the passion will be there. And like I said, I've pretty much switched the favorite and Mary Queen of Scots, with the favorite clearly being the one that's taking off a lot more, at least as of now. And I explained Ad Astra and director, so I think that pretty much sums up where I'm going from.
I'm just looking here at the BBFC details as to why it's a 15, which would be the equivalent of R. Apparently it uses fuck, bitch, tits, asshole, ass, shit, pissing, and bullshit for language, and then with drugs, sight of a man swallowing identified pills, crushing and snorting them, marijuana misuse. The work as a whole does not condone drug misuse. Scene of unimplied off-screen suicide, moderate violence, including a sequence in which one man punches another face, knocking him down. Moderate sex scenes without visible nudity, fleeting sight of breast nudity in a scene in which a man and a woman share a bath. I can guess which two that is. Also, brief glimpse of full frontal female nudity in a non-sexual context. So combine all that, and that's why you get an R, apparently.
So basically, we're doing just fine until we got to this category, and that's the reason why we have a disclaimer in every video.
Yeah, but I'm saying what it says. People need to know. Also, it does contain flashing stuff which may affect people sensitive to epilepsy. Were you listening, Incredibles 2? Yeah? Right.
So you're not allowed, if you can't go through dead exposure, you can't watch this movie. So Mr. Top Hat says, Black Panther, The Favorite, First Man, If Beale Street Could Talk, On the Basis of Sex, Roma, A Star is Born, Vice, Widows, and Infinity War as a backup 10th. Fry Guy says, Black Klansman, Black Panther, The Favorite, First Man, Green Book, If Beale Street Could Talk, Mary Poppins Returns, Roma, and A Star is Born, still no backup 10. Welcome back, Cassie. Fry Guy says, A Star is Born is, but how it will do well in the box office, because you know October is the worst month when it comes to the box office unless you're a sci-fi movie like First Man.
Is it releasing in America alongside Venom like it is over here?
Yeah.
Just double checking. So my 9 are, because I don't put them in the right order because I put A before anything. So I've got a star, well, I can blame the bloody spreadsheet for doing that in the bloody order of bloody sorting it from A to Z. I've got Star is Born, Beautiful Boy, Black Panther, Black Klansman, The Favorite, First Man, Green Book, Leave No Trace, and Roma. I'm going to stick with the Leave No Trace thing because I remembered it existed because of all the stuff. So that probably I will want to I'll have to use a crowbar to wedge that one out. I fear it's going to happen somewhere down the line, but at the minute, I'm happy with those 9.
All right. And Brad Guy says, Ashley said the 7 dirty words. You're missing a few, but still, I understand what you mean. Mr. Top Hat said, ooh, you said number 11. And I'm about to say my 9, which have not changed too much except for 2 notable exceptions. Because I don't care about alphabetical order, as AJ is so annoyed by half the time. My lineup is Vice, Black Klansman. I'm sticking with Bohemian Rhapsody. I guess I'll go down with the ship. First Man, If Beale Street Could Talk. The Favorite, replacing Mary Queen of Scots. Green Book, replacing Peterloo. Roma, A Star is Born, and yes, Widows. Hasn't changed much. We'll see what happens in October or late September, depending on how you're looking at it. So, that's going to be the show, everybody.
Well, one thing I'm trying to work out before we do, I'm trying to work out what the surprise film is for the London Film Festival. Because it's got a 9:15 showing in the evening on Friday the 12th, and then a 2 in the afternoon screening on the Saturday at a different cinema. Therefore, it can't be too long a film because Roma's supposed to be on it on 5 o'clock the following Saturday. So I'm trying to look through and looking at stuff that isn't listed for the festival, but then could be in awards contention because the surprise film last year was Lady Bird, which is obviously months and months before its stuff. So I'm sort of looking through. I guess Green Book is a potential. But the one I'm secretly thinking, because I don't even think it's even. I need to quickly see if it's listed by chance. Just because it's at that time at night. Yeah, it's not listed. Could they try and do 8th grade?
It's possible.
Because if it got enough buzz over here, could that help it in terms of the the Oscar buzz as well? I guess it would.
We'll see.
I really feel sorry for Michael Moore's Fahrenheit 11/9 that it's got to precede life itself at one of the screenings. Oh, bad placement, guys.
So I think just that quickly, and it was actually somewhat quickly, that is our show for today.
Mm-hmm.
We'll join you guys for our October predictions coming up at the end of the month. And we'll actually be in October this time. So, real quick, Ashley's been absent from the network for a bit. Obviously, still convalescing. There's a lot of things that are coming up in the near future. I'm sure we have gaming content. We have snack stashes. We have wrestling content.
Do the monthly wrestling roundup, which I probably can film tonight. Because again, I forgot that the New Japan show in the Volta Pyramid happened last night, so I've got to encompass that into everything as well. The gaming stuff, I can give my thoughts on most of the stuff that I saw at EGX, because as I say, didn't get to play there very much.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's some sack stash stuff. McDonald's have done a great taste of the world, but the question is whether I can actually get my dad to openly pay for it while I'm in the car, rather than saying that's a waste of money. So we might be missing a McDonald's session, guys. Apologies, but yeah, quite a few of that will be coming down the line, hopefully in the next days and weeks.
Very nice. Good content will be very spread out for AJ in the very near future soon. Information to be announced in the very near future. So lots of cool stuff coming for you guys. Trust me. You're going to love the next several months here on the Popcast Network if you're an AJ fan, without a doubt. Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at AshIsMyNameUK.
AJ cannot be found on social media, but if you'd like to leave a comment, you're more than welcome to do so. He does get them. He will not respond to them fairly often, but he will get them. So he at least acknowledges their existence. Fine. Thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. If you do like these videos, tell your friends, do subscribe if you'd like to. Leave a comment and help spread the word about Popcast Network. If you haven't yet, just click like on our Facebook fan page. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, you're more than welcome to. It's at Suro and Disney. Follow the network at Popcast Network. If you have any ideas for Sip and Snack or Versus and the other regular segments on this network, feel free. Go ahead and shoot me an email, suroanddisney@gmail.com. So we got more video coming very soon, more Sip and Snacks. I got more Voices of Liberty. I have video from Simple Plan coming up very soon. Don't know exactly when. That's from Warped Tour still, so I still have that in the can. May have some Everclear footage. It just depends on how the rest of the day goes. I guess you'll find out sooner rather than later. And more pop concerts, so stay tuned for that. So wrestling content, everything is going to go back to normal in a month, so don't worry. We'll be back as always. So in the meantime, hold on. Bry Guy says it's what Szechuan sauce? No, I will not do it, but if Ashley wants to, he can. The Szechuan sauce from McDonald's.
That doesn't come out over here. The Rick and Morty stuff hasn't even spread over here because we're a different thing. Hell, we haven't even got all day breakfast yet. Been long rumored, but I'll be asked.
Why can't McDonald's just serve all day lunch? Seriously, why? So, once again, I want to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon. And as always, in a world where there are a billion oh wow, good lord. I just did the wrestling podcast outro.
That's what happens when you're busy being Bodie and Doyle for a bloody month. Dear Lord.
Oh my God. Bye, Mr. Top Hat. Bye, Bry Guy. Bye, Cassie. Bye, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, whether live or in archive. Thank you again for joining us. Go see a movie if you'd like to. And if you have any ideas for any of the predictions yourself, feel free to put them in the description bar below. Like, in the comments. You're more than welcome to do so. Tell me what you guys think is going to run away with your nominations for the month of September. So since I didn't do this at the beginning, obviously you guys know another year has passed. I'm a little older. I'm a little wiser. Starting to get hair in some really strange places. And comedy for me is still comedy. And in the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Jim McDonald's has got a pizza Mac. What the fuck?